The Jacob Markstrom trade to the New Jersey Devils is still the talk of the town in Calgary, and it has changed everything for the Calgary Flames. Now, whether you're a fan of the return package or not, it proves that this team truly is solidifying their stance as an organization of going into a rebuild and not a retooling. But we will dive into all of that and more in this video. But first, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And without further ado, let's hop into how this is a rebuild and not a retool. And just quickly before we really hop into that, I gotta say, in my intro, I always say the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around the Flames. It's so nice to actually have some true concrete news here and no longer just have to dive into the trade rumors of course, Jacob Markstrom. The Jacob Markstrom trade rumor saga is finally at its ends. We got off at the last station and here we are all together. We can all exhale. Thank goodness it is over. We actually do have the trade. Now, if you missed it somehow, wow, it's still missing. There it is. The trade, of course, happened earlier today between the Devils and Flames. As predicted, Markstrom did finally end up going to New Jersey. Maybe not for as much as he could have gone for if he was shipped at the trade deadline, like what was originally announced. A lot of fans are upset with Murray Edwards for nixing that trade and then still retaining salary now. But after, I've got to Flames digest this trade a little bit more, we can say. I gotta say, it's not the worst return for the Flames, still slightly underwhelming, but for an older goalie with a no movement clause that kind of had all the power in saying that he didn't want to be here, Conroy didn't do too bad in getting a first rounder. I know it's top 10 protected, which kind of sucks, and it's not this year's top 10 overall pick. And also getting a young D-man with a lot to his game. He may not project as a top D pairing guy, but still not absolutely terrible. That is, I guess the real trade there. To go over the conditions one more time here. So the Flames are retaining about 30% on the salary. It might be a little bit more than that, but it knocks down Markstrom's AAV to $4 million for the Devils, which is part of the reason why Flames fans are upset they didn't get a little more since they did retain some salary. And of course, the pick for next year, 2025, is top 10 protected, which is too bad. I can't imagine the Devils will be worse than they were this year, but either way, a first round pick isn't too bad. It'll probably be in around the 20s. Who knows? Maybe New Jersey will win the cup and we'll get the 32nd overall pick. Wouldn't that just be great? All of our conditions always work out on our trades. But let's talk about how this truly is a rebuild and not a retooling. And it just proves that now that Markstrom is gone, the Flames can fully embrace that retool. Now, if we take a little look here, you know what? I'll expand it, make it a little bit bigger. That's nicer. These are the only players the Flames have left over the age of 30 on their roster. Another one bites the dust in Jacob Markstrom, of course. So Backlund, he signed for a couple more years now, and it's not like he will really be here for too much longer, which is too bad for him after he's given everything to this organization. We love backs. Kadri signed for a little bit longer. Joel Hanley will be interesting, kind of a fringe NHL player. Blake Coleman, of course, Pickles, is around for a little bit longer. We don't really need to talk about Pysyk at all. Jordan Osterley probably won't be up at the NHL level too much if we want to invest into that youth anyway. Kevin Rooney, and of course, Jonathan Huberdeau is signed for long-term here. That's all the Flames really have invested in some of the older guys. They do, Weegar is 30. I just chose to put the guys over 30 in this little graphic here, but it shows that's not that many. A lot of teams have a lot of veterans, whether they're, grizzled vets or they just add a lot of locker room value. The Flames don't have too many more of them left, which really shows that they will start investing and developing that youth even more, which is great to see. It really is a rebuild now. It's not just a retooling. If Markstrom was still here, you could call it a retooling because maybe when you have Markstrom, you can contend for the playoffs. We kind of saw that towards the end of the season. We kind of gave up and started giving it to Wolf, as they should have, once we knew Markstrom was no longer happy here. And it just truly is a rebuild now, and it might take a little while. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait it out. Of course, us loyal fans will be there no matter what, no matter where our team is in the standings. But the other thing that really proves that this is a rebuild, not a retool, with Markstrom being gone, is now it is Dustin Wolf's team. he can absolutely take the reins here. We do have Dan Vladar as well. There should be a video coming up on the channel soon about a health update for him, but he should be ready to go for the regular season upcoming. But it should really be Dustin Wolf's team. We can totally give the reins to him, invest in him, develop him. And, you know, getting a Kevin Ball back shows that, look, we don't want to absolutely just leave Dustin Wolf out to dry. We don't want to hang him out to dry. We can acquire some NHL caliber defensemen so that you aren't, you know, giving up 50 shots and 8 goals a game. And hopefully that can really help the growth and the development of Wolf. And it's just great because he can be the goalie that can kind of take us through this rebuild. He knows the team isn't all that great. Develop him, know what it's like to be on a bad team. So when you're on a good team, it's all that much better. I know that doesn't make perfect sense, and that's the problem over in places like Ottawa and Buffalo. But either way, getting him valuable NHL experience. And if he has to work a little bit harder, great. That means he can work hard when the team is good again. I'm liking this. It totally is a rebuild now, not a retool. Let's try and bring in as many assets as possible now. Bring in more young guys like a Kevin Ball. And of course, bring in more prospects and picks. I do not hate it at all. But let's get into kind of something a little bit funnier here and talk about how Flames fans are in their feels. And look, like I said, after digesting this trade a little bit, I don't hate the return package. It's still a little bit underwhelming, but there were some hilarious memes that came out of this trade and just all the things that have been piling on for Flames fans lately. It's horrendous. We've been through so much lately. Hopefully we can kind of start to shift away from it, especially if the Florida Panthers do win the Stanley Cup. But here was one good meme here. The Flames have traded Jacob Markstrom to New Jersey for a top 10 protected draft pick and a third pair defenseman, and the Oilers won last night. We got the sad Stephen A. Smith there. I couldn't play the video, but if you're familiar with those memes, you live on the internet, then you'll know exactly what song is playing in the background and what Stephen A. Smith is saying. I like that one. It just really goes to show things aren't going our way. Here was another good one. I'm bawling my eyes out. And I gotta say, we're maybe being a little harsh on Kevin Ball here. Maybe he'll end up being a very good player. He's huge. He could be a great defensive defenseman for years and years. The next 15 years, really, if his career turns out the way he probably plans it to. But it was funny here. I mean, you just got to go with the puns. His name is Ball. I'm bawling my eyes out. And one last one I wanted to show was actually from my family group chat with my dad and brothers. And I like this one here. This is from a couple weeks ago now, but it was when Rick Ball was announced that he was going to Chicago. My older brother there puts the crying emoji face and says, "It is truly the worst time ever to be a Flames fan." My dad replied, "Crap, can't imagine why he wanted to leave. Love my family so much. Love the Flames Digest family as well." But it just goes to show, with Rick Ball leaving, it was the worst time to ever be a Flames fan. Now the Oilers might win the cup, and we traded Markstrom for an underwhelming trade. You know, it is not a great time to be a Flames fan. And I just thought that was a very funny to share with you guys. But we like to stay optimistic here on the channel. Hopefully this rebuild will be, you know, just textbook and will go down as how to do a rebuild, and the Flames will be strong contenders in the future and can win back to back Stanley Cups. We would love to see that in about 5 years' time, but I just wanted to share with you how funny some of you guys are and some of the memes that are coming out of this. And one thing I gotta say too is that when we lost Rick Ball, I didn't think our replacement would be Kevin Ball. We got a ball for a ball. It's just balls all around here in Calgary, and that's the way we like it. Let's wrap up this video before I go insane with the comment of the day, of course, and this one has to go with, you know, some more initial reactions, I guess we can call them, of the Jacob Markstrom trade. And I did like this one here from user JESD, and what she had to say was, way too much stock was put into Markey in 4 years. He has had only 2 good ones and was on track for another bad one from the start of his career. He has done the same thing, one on and one off. In my mind, probably one of the biggest disappointments in recent years, bold. So he needed defense, first D, and sounds like we got one. What's not to like? He is Canadian and huge and plus minus not too shabby. So I'm going the optimistic way on this and say adios to Markey and welcome to Ball. Hopefully you can put some players through the boards. And I do like the optimism. I mean, there are some bold things to say in there that Markstrom, of course, was a disappointment, but I do like the optimism for sure. We hope Kevin Ball can pan out and be a very, very good player for this franchise. He is still young, so he can be there when this team is ready to contend. If the Flames, the way their decor looks right now, it isn't strong. He should fit in right away. And then maybe some of the older guys can take a spot on the bench or, up in the stands or down in the A to give some of the younger guys a good chance as well. I know a lot of people would like to see Bruce Stevich up, but either way, I do like an optimistic comment, I should say. So thank you for providing us with that one today. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe if you like what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.